everyone also at the back. Please come to the front a little bit more if you want. This is going to be an experiment in the sense that it's a pop-up pitch. First time we do this. The reason why we do pop-up pitches is because we want to make it a little bit more dynamic, less static, less formal, every one pitch after another. So this is going to be an experience, but it's a good one, I think, because I've seen some lovely pitches already. Right, so the European Robotics Week, the closing. It's been 3 hectic days, but very interesting days. So the main stage has been Amsterdam this year. So I'm very proud, of course, to have Amsterdam placed on the map. So as you all know, we've been trying to empower healthy aging. We've been trying to help the elderly, the society, to live longer independently. That's been the overarching one. And of course also our kind of, as I would like to say, hashtags that we've used, or the love that we spread, was through the women in tech, elderly included of course, the default, and kids in STEAM, putting the arts into STEM. That's been our kind of prime objective across the board, through workshops and through the hackathon. So really, this is what I aimed for. I wanted to kind of take over Amsterdam with robots. It didn't manage, but we did manage in design. All right, pop-up pitches. As I said, it is all about elderly. It's with elderly. It's not about them. Yeah, it's also about them, but it's with them. We had a couple of days that all the elderly were included into the hackathon. We talked to them. We pitched them in before already, and now it's time to kind of, tell grandma what we made. Although you're not grandmas, of course, or grandpas, but at least we keep it simple and relevant. Right, without further ado, I would like to introduce the judges. Very proud and honored to have all of the 4 over from your separate countries, actually. The four countries. This is like a European Commission in a small assembly. I would like to start with Rainer Bischoff. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you very much for the useful introduction to all of us. So, my name is Rainer Bischoff. I'm head of corporate research at KUKA. KUKA is one of the major robotics companies in the world. So, and I will view these pitches here from an angle as a roboticist. And at the same time, I'm also vice president for industry for EU Robotics. As you mentioned, Julian, EU Robotics is organizing the European Robotics Week. It will still continue during the next week, so there should be more events coming up in all over Europe. And but I'm now very excited to see what you have come up with as ideas in 48 hours. It's really interesting.
Great stuff. Floor kiss, please. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm very honored to be here. I'm very curious at what the Hacketeers have been doing the last 2 days. As an alderman, which is sort of a deputy mayor, I'm mostly interested in seeing how we can reach a lot of people, help them in their own homes, help them live independently, just exactly as Jurjen mentioned. We are responsible for social housing, so that is my primary goal, to see if there are affordable, modular ideas being pitched here. I'm really very curious.
Thanks very much.
Well, I'm Peter Sraga. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to these pitches. My background is I was Director of Research for Philips in the UK. So my background is in technology and industry, but the reason I'm here really is because I'm chair of the advisory board for AAL, Active and Assisted Living Program, European program. And finally, actually I should say that you say we're not the grandparents, but earlier this afternoon I was approached by one of the teams, just because they look so old, that they thought I'd be a good person to hear their pitch.
Hello, I'm Filip Jatkovic from the European Robotics Association, EU Robotics. Thanks very much for the invitation. I'm also really looking forward to the pitches and the general creativity that's coming through. As Rainer briefly mentioned before, EU Robotics is all about bringing the stakeholders together, both public and private, which you all are a part of. We've been running the European Robotics Week since 2011 now, and at last count I think we've just passed the 700 mark for the number of events around Europe. So yeah,
So is this going to be the biggest one yet, do you think, 2016? Because there was 700 last year. How many have we got activities, robotic activities across Europe? 32 countries, by the way.
yeah, I think that's right. I think in terms of the reach, is going to be the biggest one so far. So it's a great achievement, and it just
Well, that's a great achievement. I think that needs a little bit of woo-hoo! I told you it's going to be unconventional. Okay, great. Thank you very much, and I'm delighted and very honoured to have all of you from Germany, from the Netherlands, of course, around the corner, from England all the way from Kent, and from Brussels. So thanks very much. This also, of course, deserves a special thank you to all of the partners and the sponsors. Spark, the Partnership for Robotics in Europe, as we already said, EU Robotics, the Association, European Commission, closely aligned, of course, with there, and the Active Assisted Living Program. Very proud to have KUKA. If it's the largest industrial robotic company in the world, the third. Okay, well, yeah, it's a reasonable big size, I suppose. And Power Robotics, very proud to have them there as well. And the consortium, I think, of councils, municipalities, Leidschendam, Voorburg, Rijswijk, Pijnacker, Nooddorp, and werkorganisatie Duivenvoorde. They need to work on that design, don't they? The name's shorter. Okay, good. All right, well, of course, the event wouldn't be the same as well without the ground support. And unfortunately, I have to apologize, and I think on behalf of Ultimaker, not to have delivered the street that they would actually said they would be able to deliver in the hackathon, but we had lots of Ultimakers down at the first floor for the kids to work with. Autodesk with their support, 30 megahertz, which did provide us with the possibility of connecting to the sensors within the rooms. Follow Flow, which is the emotional AI, the emotional detection. DCOS with their Pepper robot. AMSTA, which actually was the ground support of elderly that were here to assist and to look over what we've been doing. So very proud to have AMSTA as a society and the National Elder Fonds, which are actually the people that were doing the caretaking. Right, and the 24/7 streaming network as well for the media. Thanks very much. Well, that was it, I think, for the introduction. Without further ado, I would want to bring the first pitch, Snoop. To Snoop Doggy. Snoop Doggy.
Snoop.
Thank you. Please, can I ask everybody to stand around our beautiful booth here of Snoop.
Snoop.
All right, word. So, who likes animals? Who likes animals? Who likes animals? I like animals, and I mean, let's face it, dogs are great. Dogs are great. Dogs are cute, and dogs give us something to care about, to connect with. Dogs keep us active. I mean, it helps keep an active lifestyle. And dogs also connect us to other people by that active lifestyle. So we know, and research also shows many times, that dogs are, and pets in general, dogs are an ideal way for elderly people to stay active, connected, and careful. But when you get older, taking care of a dog can be more exhausting, more challenging, and there's a lot to take care of, especially when you are alone. We base much of our research on our persona, Bert de Vries, who is, please go back, who was very social once, but now he feels distracted and confused. But his daughter forced him to get a dog, and now he has something to care for. Still, it is of course a challenge for him, and he would like to keep this relationship with the dog well for as long as possible, because it also helps him, and it gives him a reason to care. So, what would it be like if your dog can help you doing this for a longer time in your life? What would happen? Can you go back? If your dog would remind you about its needs, like, I didn't eat this evening, or do we have to go buy dog food today? Or maybe I might need my vaccine shots this month. Yeah? What would it be like if your dog yourself recommends what kind of activities we're going to do today? It's a nice day outside, let's go for a walk. Hector would benefit from a longer walk today. Maybe we should take the route by the water today. And what would it be like finally, to share your activity with your dog, with those who care. You know, your family who can't be with you all the time. But, for example, if the dog has not been fed or taken out for the day, the family or caregivers can just check in and see if everything is okay. Because how you care for your pets is actually an indicator of how you do yourself. Right now, the moment that we've all been waiting for, this moment. We are presenting the Snoop.
We need a ruffle? Do we need a ruffle?
The Snoop dog collar. And we're going to show a little video first. This is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. The Snoop dog collar. There we see King with the Snoop Dogg collar, and he's actually, the audio is not so good, but he's actually talking to his owner about leaving the house and then going for a walk. And without further ado, here is King with the Snoop Dogg collar! Isn't he cute? So can we give a demo of the actual device? Made with a 3D printed enclosure on the Ultimaker at Makerversity. We integrated electronics from a Bluetooth speaker. There is a microphone inside. And we're accessing that through a mobile phone for the mock-up purposes.
Hello. Hello, this is the Snoop Dogg.
Hello, Hector. What have you been doing today? Have we been walking around or?
I'm mostly in the crowd, just hiding.
Ah. Are you hungry today, Hector?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you want to play a game later on?
I didn't get that.
Do you want to play a game later on?
Yes, that will be great.
Great. Thank you, Hector, and applause everybody for Hector. And the Snoop Smart Dog collar. Now, I will explain a little bit about the technology inside. So there's a inertial motion unit inside, accelerometers, so we can measure what movements the dog is making. There's a speaker, obviously, so you can hear suggestions of what your dog would like to do with you. A microphone to talk to him. There's GPS, so we can locate him. And of course, what is very important that the actual algorithms of what we do with the data is being processed in the cloud. And there we have algorithms that build on what we measured and then give suggestions. And possibly in the future that can be based on AI. First, it will be a more simplistic process. GSM, and there's a wireless charging. So, for example, if your dog goes to sleep, it wirelessly charges in the dog basket. Well, to close off. So what we are doing is we are combining the familiarity of a household pet, yeah, we all know pets, with robotic sensors, connectivity and data processing. So we are combining those two worlds together in order to introduce lifestyle improvement technologies to the elderly. And by doing that, we initiate positive changes in their behavior that can help them, and in the end, live independently longer. That's what it's about. In the meantime, give your dog the care it deserves and give comfort to your relatives by sharing your activity. Thank you very much for your attention.
About the usability of this device, so how is the elderly person actually using it?
So it's two-way audio. And in the first iteration it would be one-way audio, so there would be no talking by the elderly, just to make it very simple, but just suggestions given by the dog. But at a certain point you can actually give two-way, so you can ask questions to the dog, etc. Very simple, no interface, no buttons, audio.
Did you do a market research? So what could be a potential market for such a device?
I think there's a market between already very active elderly, but then there's at a certain point there's a stage where they notice that things are becoming a little bit harder, but they have to make the decision. Do I keep my dog? Do I take a dog? And that decision point is somewhere where maybe you are 60, 70, 60, until a quite late age.
Have you considered integrating a camera into this?
Yes, we have. That was actually one of our first ideas. We had to, and we talked a lot to the elderly also during the hackathon. There are some technical implications of that, battery life and the complexity, but also the user scenario. We didn't find it necessary to have a real live feed coming from a dog, because it would be very errant and it wouldn't give a lot of information, because the live feed would be very troublesome. So the user scenario was a little bit flawed.
Does anything like this already exist?
There are smart dog collars, but they focus mostly on locating your dog when you're outside. This is particularly focused on being an elderly companion and reminding, coaching, helping actually the elderly in relationship to the dog. So the user scenario is totally different.
Then I had a very specific question. You talked about the dog saying that, in inverted commas, that it wanted to go on a specific walk. How do you imagine that would actually work in practice? Where would that information come from?
Well, it would be interesting to look at combinations of databases and AI systems that are being built by third parties, and see how we can link a location, the database, with a certain AI, so that they can give suggestions about possible different routes in the neighborhood.
Okay, I think we need to move on. 2 minutes are over already for the questions and answers. Thanks very much. Give him a round of applause again. Well deserved. Okay, good. Frosty Bot, it's your 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we figured that when people are making robots for elderly, they're always trying to make something that aids them and looks very friendly. But most of the time it turns out to look really creepy, actually. If you've seen like kids being scared of certain robots around here. I've seen also just people of 30 who are in contact with robots a lot, getting scared of robots around here. So we figured, okay, we'll do something completely different. We'll just make an ugly robot, which you just can punch. Actually, when you're frustrated, because a lot of elderly, they want to use technology. They see it around them. It's like, oh yeah, I can take pictures of things with my smartphone, but they don't really know how to do it. So that's a little annoying. But they do know people who are a little bit more technical. So if you are really frustrated, then you'll just call someone you know.
The microphone, maybe.
Yeah. And there it goes. Yeah, it doesn't work.
What seems to be the problem?
Yeah, and then you can continue just to talk with your normal friend, someone who knows, and you can solve your problem actually. So yeah, that's the robot we had in mind. It's called Frosty Bot.
Yeah. That's something else. Just a quick question for myself here on this side. It's all about persona, right? So the number one is persona driven, and we want to focus on the actual individual that is maybe the most in need of robotics or domotics. Could you maybe answer the question on the persona? Have you had anyone in mind, or yourself, anyone in mind here that you would like to assist with this getting rid of aggression or getting?
Well, I think also we had it came up with also Bert, because he said he was a little bit grumpy, and we were like, yeah, what's bad about being grumpy? You know, sometimes you're just grumpy. So, and then yeah, it's just that points out there.
You're just angry in body.
Yeah, and it's also like in the old days you could just hit the television and then it would work again. I think a lot of people miss those old good days. So yeah, it's a little bit of in between. I like it. Yeah.
So that brings me to the question. I mean, the market potential could be then also with other groups. It's not just the elderly.
Definitely.
Have you done any estimation of the market size?
We just thought about the elderly, so there's about 1.2 million. They will have a couple of questions a year. They will right now maybe look on 4 hours or something like that. So yeah, if you just do a rough calculation of 4 times a year, an hour or so, then you get a market value of what is that? Yeah, 120 million, but it goes quickly. But that's the question, of course, how much people will actually value it. Yeah.
More questions?
Yeah. Do you have any ideas on how you would like to develop this prototype further?
Well, of course, the looks are very important. I think that's it's one of the most important things that has to be developed further. The technology is quite simple, in my opinion. So we now put it up on a wire. We first wanted to make it standing somewhere, but then the 3D printer thing didn't work. So yeah, there's a lot of decisions to make there actually.
Great, thanks very much. I think that's all. We're also looking at 2 minutes. Perfect. Anxious. Okay, the next one is care, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
We are here to present cura. Cura is a word, a Latin word that means our project is focused on the person. So, some data for you. We are going to have about 40 million people suffering with dementia in Europe in 2030. Also, we are going to have a cost that is around 250 billion euros. And you can see maybe, let me show here. We have some regions, so here's northern of Europe. So probably you are in this region, and the cost is going up quite steeply. Since our project is focused on this character called Mr. Bram, he is 74, and he's already presents signs of Alzheimer. Sorry. So our idea with this system is to use cutting-edge technology to fight the to fight the Alzheimer, and also to now I'm losing my words, to prevent. So for this we are going to use Pepper, that is a social robot, and also we are using IBM Watson, that is a machine learning, deep learning system, or cognitive system, based on artificial intelligence, and Microsoft Cognitive System, or Azure. Those systems are 24/7 available, and our robot is connected to these systems to be able to help the user to develop and age well. So the idea is connect to people. That's why we are using this social robot, because one of the scenarios that they presented to us was this person that has signs of Alzheimer and also suffers from loneliness. So this robot is not only a machine, it's a companion, so it's a friend in a certain way. And now I'm going to pass to my friend that is from psychology.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, it'll be fast. So yes, I'm half psychologist, half computer scientist. So our idea was to implement a psychological test for this robot. This test is called the Wisconsin test for the diagnosis of dementia and the Alzheimer. So what we did basically is to implement this game in our laptop. Our laptop communicates with the robot, and the robot can give a feedback to the person that is playing the game. So now we'll show you a demo.
Hello, I am Pepper. Let's play together. Welcome, my name is Pepper and today I'm here as part of the Project Cure. Today we will play a game. Actually, this is not a game. This is the Wisconsin card sorting test. This test is a neuropsychological test which is widely used by clinical psychologists to test patients with brain injuries and mental illnesses. Your role is to find the right match for the card that I will show you on the screen. The cards could be matched by number, color, or shape of the symbols. Choose the card you think is the best match. Let's start.
Okay, so
which card do you want to choose?
here you can see we have 4 different cards. Here we have a card that is the main one. So the idea of the game is that you have to find a match between this
I
card
do not understand your answer.
and one of
Can you
those.
repeat?
So when you will see the symbol appear here, is the moment to talk. The first. So in this case, I choose the first one.
I do not understand your answer. Can you repeat?
The second. The first one.
Try to choose a single card. If you don't know the answer, pick a random one.
So in this case, the robot is suggesting how to approach this test, right? The fourth. So in this case, I choose the fourth card.
What did you say? Can you repeat again, please?
You may have to speak in a very American way because Watson is tuned into the American.
Number 3.
You choose the third card.
Nice. So,
Well, your answer is correct.
so in this case, the robot says this card
Please
is
make your
correct.
ease.
Number 1. So in this case, my idea was the color.
You choose the first card.
Is correct
I
or
am
not?
sorry. The answer is not correct. You can do better the next trial.
So basically, the idea is to continue
Please make your ease.
to continue with this test, and at the end you collect a score that can give indication
Repeat again when the
of
listening
the
symbol appears
level
in the
of
bottom
Alzheimer
right
and
corner.
dementia that the person has. And the idea is to send this data to a doctor that can analyze the data, can give a feedback, right? So it's something that should be fun in some way, but also useful for the person. And it's very important to do prevention because Alzheimer is
Did
a
you say
disease
something? Please
that can be cured when you find the first symptoms of this disease.
You got 10 seconds is what Pepper says. 10 seconds to finish it up with.
The second.
The emotion.
Okay, the second.
Repeat again when the listening symbol appears in the bottom right corner.
Number 1.
You choose the first card. Well done. Your answer is correct.
Okay, give him a round of applause. Very good, very good. Well, thanks very much. That was pretty impressive. And normally, if people ask me to if they can do a demo, live demo.
I understand your answer.
I know you don't, because you never heard this before. So every time when people say we do a live demo, I say don't do it because it's going to go wrong. I think these guys pulled it off. Well done. They deserve an extra applause for the running demonstration. Where are you from? Very quickly. Where are you from? Italy.
Brazil.
India.
Well, that's not necessarily European Union, but it's international, right? So give them a round of applause again for that. Okay, questions? Rainer.
So you just mentioned IBM Watson. How did you realize the speech recognition?
Yes.
With IBM Watson, was it difficult?
The girl here is working in a company and uses IBM Watson, so maybe you can say something more.
So basically all the speech is converted into text, and after that there are deep learning neural network algorithms which are used behind it. And then whatever text we have, because it is a natural language, then we need to parse it to the numeric digits. We need to identify what cardinal numbers, ordinal numbers are there. Based on that, the robot can understand, because it is a machine which we are training. And if we train it wrong, it will respond wrong.
So regarding the product that you're suggesting, this is simply a test which could run on a robot device like Pepper.
The idea is to, run it maybe on the tablet, so it can be some kind of game that the person can play, right? And there are all other tests that we can implement. Of course, in 2 days we have only time to implement this one that is also very complicated, but the idea is to implement many other tests that can be in some way funny, but at the same time useful.
And we have integrated this with the emotion identification, like if a person is feeling sad or he is not feeling very happy or surprised, so in that case we can say, okay, you are not feeling very happy, you are confused, so if you want to play a game, so we can play and have fun.
And this is implemented, and the emotions module actually is implemented with another cloud system from Microsoft, so we have 2 cloud systems
Cognitive APIs
together in one product.
I wonder how important do you think the robot plays in this? Because I wondered how important do you think actually using a robot to do this? I mean, you could do the same thing directly on a laptop or a tablet without the robot. I just wonder how.
One reason is that the robot actually can run to you through the house, so you can't ignore the robot. It's just like, oh, I'm going to ignore my doctor. No, the robot is going to run through, no, come here, please. And the robot can read your emotions. So, oh, why are you sad? Come here, let's talk. So the idea is to implement some kind of embodiment and give a little bit more of human soul to the robot.
You mentioned the analysis by maybe doctor or someone else. Could you explain a bit more about that, please?
Which one, sorry?
About the tests go to a doctor. And
yes,
what do you expect the doctor to do about that?
Yes, the idea is that not to replace a doctor, but to be an extension of the doctor, right? So the robot should not do the same thing that a doctor does. The robot should extend the capacity of the doctor. So in this way, the doctor cannot go every day to the house of the patient, of course, right? So in this case, having a robot in, for example, a center where there are elderly can be really useful because can collect information from all the people and then can send it to the doctor that can analyze the data. It can see maybe after 1 month if there is some anomaly, can maybe do an intervention in this case.
Yeah, great. Well, give them a round of applause. And I think this is also what it's about, that you all do robotics, or at least you're, is AI, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming?
It's robotics and
neuro-linguistic.
Artificial intelligence.
Fantastic. Did you feel that you had everything in your team? Because did you know each other before you came in?
Only me and you, not
So you knew each other and you met here?
Yes.
And how was it to work together on this?
It was a great experience.
Great experience.
Yeah.
Was it your first hackathon?
Yes.
Wow. Will you do one again?
Yeah.
No, never again. Great. Is it for you?
yes, first
time? Oh, that's good. Well, at least it was a good experience, your first hackathon. Great stuff. I think that's it. We're moving to the other side. They're setting up over there on the TV. It's probably a little bit better to see this time, hopefully. Of course, of what this team Vax is about. while they're setting up. Maybe you can just quickly say where you're from, where you came from.
We're a little team from Enschede, from the eastern Germany in Holland, and I must say we came relatively blank over here just to get ideas, not knowing what to build. So we listened to what the elderly had to say the first night, and we talked to a lot of other people. And we came up with a dementia awareness experience, so I want to talk to you about that. We tried to set some main goals because we were technicians. We tried to look for a problem and not trying to use technology to create a problem that we could solve with the technology. So we really tried to find the problem, and we set out to make Volkert happy again. But Volkert is just one of the many elderly who get in trouble. We were shocked by the amount of people who will have to deal with this disease. This year it's 260,000 in the Netherlands alone, and in 30 years that will be 500,000. If you think about that number, and you think about the people who will have to deal with these elderly, you say you have 2 children per parent about, then there are 1 million people who deal with this disease on a regular basis. And who will also have to know about this disease and how to deal with these people. So, yeah. If you look further, 1 of 3 seniors dies. It's about 10% of people who dies of Alzheimer's disease or dementia disease. That's 14,000 people a year. 14,000 people, that's about 2 every half hour, if you calculate it back. It's the #1 cause of death, and it kills more than other diseases. So, how can we make him happy? And we tried thinking about technology, about robots, about everything we can do with technology these days, but, well, we skipped these steps. So, we didn't want to bother these people with more technology they probably don't understand and won't get used to it anymore once they've started to experience that disease. So, during a lot of talks, we focused on their environment and tried to get their environment, understand what they made through. So we targeted 1 million people or more who have to deal with these people. And through understanding, we think we can make these people get a better experience, better life quality. And we do that using technology, of course, because, well, sort of, that's why we're here. So, we're not targeting the people with the disease, we're targeting the 1 million caretakers. And what can we do for them? We try to create awareness and recognition of the symptoms that the elderly people with the disease experience. And we do that with technology that is available today. So, in order to understand someone, it's really good to get to the same experience. I can talk, somebody can talk what it's like, and then I'll listen to it, and, well, tomorrow I've forgotten about it. Or if I can experience the life and the problems, I'm really aware of what it means to have these things, and I can also take action, or can think about solutions that might bring a little sunshine into the life of these people. So, and we want to do that before his symptoms become clearly visible. So we can do that today for the people who starts to suffer tomorrow. Wow, this is just, we talked a lot with Alette and she told her story, but it's an example. So, what did we make? Or what do we use? We have some virtual reality stuff here. This is pretty cheap. You put in your phone, most of the phones can fit in, and you can put it on your head, you can experience the experience we want to transfer to the people. That's just software you can and you can transfer that software using the internet. So we have tried to make it a better experience using the follow flow heartbeat measure, because with the heartbeat measure you can also measure emotions if you translate it. So using that in the game makes the experience better, but it's not absolutely necessary. So we have made a simulation room. We need to change a little, and then we can take you to the room. Just imagine that you can see this room using this equipment in 3D. It means that you're fully immersed. You don't see the environment anymore. Yeah. So, this is the room we made. What does it mean to have starting symptoms of Alzheimer's, for example? Well, we were told that you put your keys somewhere and then you turn around and they're gone. And we can simulate that experience by looking at the keys. You know where the keys are?
They're here. Or wait.
Over there?
Or
I see
here.
keys. I need to find them back.
Keep going to the same spot.
They're gone. So this makes the user confused of what did I have to do. If you make a simple set of things the user has to do in the game, you just put on the radio and you see images popping up that become visible when you hear the music, so you make the music picture connection. We really need to dive more into the experiences, but we think we can program a lot of experiences by doing simple assignments in this room and bring that to the 1 million people in their homes today. Do we need to say more?
Can you surpass that last statement? That's a big statement. So that's great. It's a great finish, I think. Or do you want to say more?
No, if it's a great finish, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic. A round of applause. Fantastic. Really, really good. Yeah. Well, and as you say rightly, it doesn't have necessarily a robot. You kind of said, well, you looked at it and you moved to another technology, virtual reality. Persona-wise, did you start with it? Maybe I've missed that.
We started out with Volker.
Oh, Volker, yeah, I missed out on that, sorry. How do the judges think about the use of virtual reality?
How do you want to earn money with this application?
Well, we can make in-app purchases. No, it wasn't the main focus to make money using it for this awareness program. If I'm honest, we were thinking about the thing, and once we mentioned it, somebody said, well, there's a container that should give this experience, exactly. But you have to bring a C container somewhere and you reach far less people.
And it's very expensive.
We
nearly did it in Interdimension. It was 4,000 euros for 1 day. So that business model doesn't stack up.
And then you reach only 100 people.
And what's the cost for this to experience?
Need public money.
Do we? But just the question that, how much does this cost, this experience, to actually put that together?
I think if you want to develop this, you think about 30,000 euros to develop the room and the experience and the design, about that number. And then you can roll it out to 1 million people in the Netherlands.
Well, I think it's much more money you need.
I think this is a very nice idea to put yourself into the position of the person who has Alzheimer's. So let me take another example. The problem that sometimes happens is that as dementia gets worse. As dementia gets worse, one of the problems is that people can't recognise people that they knew before. They can't remember who they are. Do you think the kind of technology you're talking about can help in those kind of situations, or is it only those situations which are geographically in a room, like the type you described?
We've talked about situations where you can use virtual reality to let these people in the more advanced stages of the disease experience their youth, for example, if you can reconstruct their youth. We talked shortly about, for example, if you're at the police, you can take a composition picture of somebody, you say the eyes are more like this and stuff like that. You can think of a design studio where you can, using the children of the elderly, quickly design the environment, because that's the hardest and the most expensive part, and then put the elderly through it. But I'm not sure if somebody of 70 will 80 will want to use this if it's totally uncomfortable, strange thing. So that's why we focused on making the first and the second stage maybe more easy to live with. Right. If we create awareness with the people who will experience this next year, then, for example, Alet gave a very nice example. If I can recognize problems my dad has, and map that to this disease. I don't have to talk about this disease with him, which makes him uncomfortable. I don't have to talk about what happened yesterday. I can start talking about what happened last year, and my dad will happily talk with me because he remembers, and he doesn't have to hide that he's forgotten something.
This is Liv and this is Johan, and we are from Enschede as well, Enschede area, so the same as this previous group. Yeah, let us just settle for a few seconds.
Dat is wel een achtergrondgeluidje hoor.
So sorry that it doesn't really look that well in the PowerPoint. How do I start? So what is really elder independence? Because right now there's estimation in 2040 that there will be more than 1/4 of the Holland Netherlands population that's going to be elder. So 1/4 of our population will be that age. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm really not good at thinking. So our solution is actually focusing more on the elderly itself, trying to help each other instead of focusing on trying to get younger generations to help. Because that would be nice, but the problem most of the time is that our system of daily life doesn't allow us to make time, which at some point would be great. But there are so many people retiring and have nothing to do, and most of the time they will lose, especially their social drive that will keep them mentally and physically active. And that is most of the time the problem why they deteriorate quicker. So we want to actually connect them by using an application which will match their needs, which means, a moment, sorry. So as an example, you see Lainey. Lainey can cook. She loves conversating and working. So that's all those things that she still can do instead of focusing on things that she can't do. So it's about empowering the elderly to become part of our society again by helping each other instead of being dependent as a whole, instead of being independent as a whole. So which means is the application will look at the people that actually have a subscription or account, and they can say, okay, well, I can still walk, I can cycle and conversate daily. So the system will see, okay, how can they actually fill each other's needs, and they can go after that, message each other, Skype call, and then they can actually make an appointment if they want to. Vincent is going to explain more about the actual system, so we're going to pass it to.
Okay, so we don't expect volunteers to just get together and do this all together. We want to incentivize it. So right now our current healthcare system, how it's structured is we have insurance companies, healthcare providers, and it's centralized. They provide the healthcare for everyone, and everyone pays via their insurance, right? So in our platform, well, we turn it around a bit. So I'm going to give an example. Of course, each is not a number, but you can think about this group, the independent elders, as a group of 60-plus-year-old people. Independency of the people decreases. They become more dependent. So what we want to do is we want to connect these people who can help the more dependent people. So we do this via our application. And let's say, for example, someone from 60 has every Thursday afternoon, she or he wants to help for a few hours. And this means that someone can donate, they can volunteer, they can put in 5 hours of healthcare for someone else. It can be board games or walking or anything. And these 5 hours or any value will be verified by the system, by our app. And the one who is helping the other ones is getting these healthcare credits. So let's say I help for 5 hours a week, I get 5 hours of healthcare credits. So when I'm turning older, when I'm becoming more aged and more dependent, I can later exchange this credit for healthcare from younger people who are incoming, the new generation basically. So we verify this and credit this via the blockchain. In the beginning, we might need some subsidies to get this rolling because we need a big pool of young people who want to join this. But the idea is that you work towards your own healthcare. Yeah, you will become older and you might start to need something. So you can already start investing in that via helping others, basically. So it's volunteering plus an incentive. And these credits you can even work for someone else. If you are 20 years old and you want to do this for your grandma, you can donate those credits to her, for example. Yeah, this can be really large. Maybe if we have time for a short more.
Very quick demo, very quick if you want to show something,
Okay, so here you see the main page of our app. We have our profile here and the friends. Yeah, you can click on it. So these are people that have helped us. What was it in the beginning? The person before, sorry. Just a random name. But these are people who have come to him earlier. You can save them. And if you go back to screen 1, and you go to schedule, for example, you can see what you have to do, what you're going to do this week. So on Monday I'm going to cook with Jane, and Thursday I have an appointment to cycle with Peter. And if you go back to screen 1 again, you can also set your activities. So I'm looking for people who want to cook with me, who want to cycle with me, who can maybe walk my dog because I'm not able anymore. Or maybe game or anything. So that's the basic setup of this platform. I hope it's clear to everyone.
So in the end, you hopefully want to make a social platform for elderly to inspire each other to actually go on adventures with them. That's the main idea in our group.
Right, questions, fantastic, very good.
Yes, questions, please.
Where did you get the inspiration for this new approach? Or is it not a new approach? I don't know.
Well, there was, in the beginning, a great talk with 3 elderly people. One of them was Piotr, and he was a really interesting person. We started talking to him, and he explained to us why a lot of sustainable development and self-sustainable things don't actually push through history. He researched 50 years of history of mankind and baby booms and all that kind of stuff. And the problem is mainly that nowadays we get children really quick after each other. Well, we used to have like an older brother that would look after you. Which means is you pass on knowledge as a staircase, a waterfall effect. But now because children are born really quickly after each other, parents are really tired most of the time. And yeah, most of the time it all comes together with maybe then doing things that are easier and isolating and being like, okay, I don't have time for you and I need to take care of myself. So to actually try to combine people that need the same thing but a little bit different, we can maybe fill up the hole because they have time and they want to most likely hang out with
Okay, Lynn, good.
Great
stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
No, perfect, very good. Another question.
I think this is a terribly important area. I mean, it's not completely new. There are people talking about there's one in the UK, but I think this is a very interesting instantiation of that. We're actually making it into a reality. So I think it's it's not a question, but I think it's a very nice
comment. Well, give them a round of applause. Thanks. Very well done. Very well done. Okay, well, we are going to have a quick break and really.
Hi. So, two of us live here, and one of us lives in France, in Rennes. That's Kwaku. He's doing his PhD in Rennes. Oh, it's not on?
No, it's on, but you need to
bring it up higher. Okay. So I live here in Amsterdam. I'm a product manager and a software developer, and Monica also.
Yeah, I'm doing an internship here at Next Nature Network organization, where we deal with speculative design and different kinds of projects in between science, culture, and technology.
And I'm Kwaku, and I live in France. I'm visiting here. My background is mostly in artificial intelligence and computational intelligence, so I do research and application of that to different fields. Anyway, that's us. This is Team Luna. Cheers.
Well, great. Well, no pitch yet. We did the whole way around the ball.
Thank you.
Thanks, Any questions? Okay, that's a bit of a tedious joke. Right, 5 minutes when you're ready.
All right. So hello everyone. We're Team Luna, and we're presenting Luna, which is a product for the rhythm of sleep. So basically, why Luna and what's the background? So Luna is something that we hope will help fix sleeplessness in adults and elderly people. And the why? Because insomnia is something that happens to a lot of elderly people. The Canadian Geriatric Society did a study finding out that over 40% of people over the age of 60 have insomnia, and it's very common. Sleep disorders are very common, but they're rarely diagnosed. And in a study that they did over 2,000 elderly people, they found out that insomnia is a good predictor for death and nursing home placement. So it's something that should be tackled. Now, okay, so Luna, what does Luna target? Luna targets elderly people in the early stages of Alzheimer's. So people who have sleep disorders, people who wake up disoriented at night, people who are stressed in the middle of the night, people who have problems with sleep. And what is Luna? How does it do this? So Luna basically monitors an individual's sleep state based on your heartbeats, your heart state, and basically provides some assistance when they wake up, depending on how they woke up. Now, I'll explain this much more further here. So think of this graph as like, the x-axis is current time, and that y-axis is your state, whether you're awake, sleep, or in deep sleep. So you go to bed, it starts in your bed, time 0, you're going to bed. You fall into a deep sleep, and then something happens and you wake up abruptly. So basically we keep track of that and basically then respond to that. Basically being able to respond to why you woke up. So I'll give you a concrete example. So let's say Mary's 70 years old and she's going to bed. She has a sleep band on and she has a cell phone. As you can see, she has a cell phone next to her bedside because most of people have cell phones. So Mary goes to sleep, and then when she goes with this band on, we start kind of keeping track of her heartbeat and recording, and then figuring out her awake level, how awake she is, and what's going on in her sleep. Now, when she wakes up in the middle of the night, you know, her heartbeat goes up really strongly.
Hi, Peter. It's 3 in the morning. You're lying in bed in your home and you're based.
Now, imagine this being for someone who's woke up and they're disoriented. They woke up, they don't know what's going on, they're not really sure where they are. You have a recording of your voice or a stand-up recording like that, saying something, giving you something very useful that kind of places you where you are and tells you, like, you're home, don't be uncomfortable, this is your own house and this is where you are. Now imagine if you woke up and you just wanted to go back to sleep. We can also detect that and play music that will make you fall asleep, something that will slowly lull you to sleep. So in essence, our product there's a lot of sleep trackers around, but our differentiator is basically that we create something that you can easily use to help you just go back to sleep, or to help you deal with disorientation. And this is very useful because right now there are all these products that try and do all this in a really, really high level, but we do this with just a cell phone and a wristband, something like this. So this is a pulse on that was given to us to try to test this on, but this is a small, and it costs less than 30 euros. So with 30 euros and a cell phone that you already have, we can actually help you deal with a little bit of insomnia, which, as we said earlier, it's been shown that that's a predictor for death. So if we can help you just deal with something without having to go to a doctor, without having to rely on other people, to rely on other tools, why not? So, okay, so this is Team Luna, and this is our pictures, beautiful pictures of 3 of us. And thank you for listening.
On which persona this is based?
Sorry.
On which persona?
On this.
Volker Braun is the persona that we kind of focused on. He specifically said that he has problems with sleep. He specifically said that he has problems with sleep after his stroke, and so he was our inspiration. But we also spoke with Peter, I don't know how to pronounce Piotr, and he spoke about, during the presentation early on, when the elderly folks were speaking, he was talking about the fact that he sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night, and the way he relaxes, because he's usually in this alert and kind of stressed state, the way he relaxes is he goes and writes down a few sentences that he's familiar with. So we kind of got inspired by that and said, well, what if there's something that we can bring into a person's life that could help them calm down when they are in this disoriented or highly stressed state when they wake up in the middle of the night. And so the idea with this is that you can either pre-program it, predefine what you're going to hear. It could also be something that your children pre-program for you, or your doctor. But it's also something that you can yourself define what calms you down. So we took inspiration from Twitter and from Volker.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the connectivity of this device? Is it just between the smartphone and your watch, or do you have also some cloud ideas?
So we really focus on the minimum viable product because it's a weekend. So it basically takes Bluetooth low energy and connects directly to your Android or to your iOS device. Oh, sure. And yes, there's the possibility of connecting to the cloud. That would enable the possibility of, for example, caretakers or doctors to monitor the heart condition of their patients while those patients are in home as opposed to in the hospital. So that would improve that situation. And you have something else to say?
Sure. And also, we kind of, right now, for this demo, focus just on something that's really local without doing the cloud, because there's privacy risks uploading someone's live data about their heartbeat, their heart rate whilst they're sleeping. So this is something that's very just local. You know, you can assure a grandmother that this is something that no one's going to know. This is about just her and her private data is that no one is observing her when she's sleeping.
Any other questions?
If I understand this correctly, I mean, many people might wake up in the night and listen to something on the radio or listen to some music. You're saying effectively you're automating that. Is that really what you're doing? Because, I mean, it's still the cell phone doing the same thing. They might do the cell phone manually. Is that fair? Or is that a bit more than that?
That is definitely fair. It's kind of, the idea is to really be there when the person is awake and automate that process and make it basically customized to the individual. So for example, rather than having to search through the radio for your channel, it automatically goes to your comfort zone.
Right. And also, basically, if you think of someone who's disoriented. When they wake up, they're not really sure where it is, where the radio is or something, or where their favorite CD is. So something like this basically helps them, just calms them down, and then they can either get out of bed and go do whatever that is, or I could play a different song for them. But this kind of tides them over from that initial disorientation state.
Hello everybody, we are non-stop motion. Well, as the title already explains, it is a stop motion, but we don't want you to stop. Just be in motion. Alright, the basis of this is that we are trying to understand how people feel with sensors. But people are very afraid of robots in general, especially the elderly people, and they don't want to be in contact with robots. We are, in our daily life, constantly faced with robots. This thing I have on my wrist is a robot. While I'm just standing over here, it's measuring my heart rate, it's measuring how much I exercise, and with these things it can paint a picture for us. And also for elderly people, because we've seen that elderly people are quite lonely and they have problems with communicating. We use the persona of Bert, for instance. He's ashamed to go and connect to people because he has problems trying to connect. And our app is going to do that. When our heart monitor measures that Klaartje or Bert is lonely, it's gonna send a message to somebody else. Hey, maybe you could connect to Lara, to Klaartje, or to Bert. Could you call Bert? Like family, or just a friend. And Klaartje or Bert will not know that. He or she will just be faced with a call like, hey Klaartje, hi Bert, how are you doing? And that's a friend of Klaartje. It's not a random person, it is like a family member or a friend. And so with sensors, we're gonna try to measure the mood of people, and from that emotion, we are gonna try to connect. Like we already mentioned on the stop motion video, we can censor a lot with a watch. You can see blood pressure, you can see the cortisone measurements, you can see the heart rate, you can see lots of things, and from that you can make a picture. So, non-stop motion, the watch of the future, elderly people. The heart tells us very much, let us be the translator.
Round of applause, thank you very much. Well, I just have a quick question just to kick off. I'm not sure if I got it, if I understood correctly what type of technology that you use. Did you use kind of real-time analysis? Did you use Watson, or did you use like a robot, or did you use like a wearable? What technology? What the heck? Tiki-tack.
Yeah, we started out with this one. It's from Follow Flow, and it measures all kind of things. And we were asking to elderly people, all right, how do you think about that? Because it's very important to know what they feel like. And they kind of found that it was kind of interesting because it is quite digital. And elderly people also attach to physical things and more normal things. So we're going to use the sensors of the Follow Flow, the pop-up thing, and but we're going to make it look like a normal watch. That is the main thing.
Good. Any questions from the judges?
Did you actually manage to have the sensor make a phone call or send a text message as you mentioned in the presentation?
At this moment not, and that is because we don't have a coder on the team. So we would love to have that managed.
Do you already have some knowledge of the combination of vital signs that actually will determine whether a call at both ends would be acceptable and actually give progress, or is this just you think you can do that?
Oh man, I hope it's not stuck.
Well, let me answer the question with another question. Do you like it when somebody you know, a friend of you, calls you when you are in need of some connecting? Because when I'm lonely, well, not that lonely most of the time, but if I was like, oh right, yeah, it's raining outside, it's a bit gray outside, and somebody I know is like, oh look, I have a call from them, oh, let's call them, and then you can feel happy again. And I don't think that any one of you guys are going to say the same thing, because if you see something you love, you like, it's gonna make you happy.
So, hi everyone. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
Just explain first who you are and maybe what you study.
So, well, actually, I was going to start with something different because I want to do something different than all the other people. I'm going to do something dangerous. Dangerous? Better? Cool. Okay. I'm going to do something dangerous. I'm going to gather real live data. So that's dangerous for us, not for you, because we're going to test our model and run our model on data we've never seen before. So it's very well possible that stuff will go wrong. So dangerous for us. So while my colleagues here will be presenting our entire project, I will be making pictures of stuff like, you know, a microphone or other stuff. You'll see me walking around a little bit. Just watch what I do, but also pay attention to my colleagues. So thank you.
So I'm going to explain a little bit more about our project. We want you to meet Volker, and of course everybody here already has seen Volker a couple of times today. He's our inspiration. This is the guy who is 74 years young. He's physically fit, but unfortunately he suffered from a stroke. And due to that stroke, he suffers also from memory impairment, which makes him very insecure and doesn't allow him to complete every task, and he sometimes forget things or people. So we need to tackle a problem because that memory impairment, as we already seen with previous presentations, is a big problem to the elderly, and it really, well, even a mild memory loss can also already cause loss of quality of life and empowerment of the elderly. So how do we solve that problem, the mild cognitive impairment? For instance, you can't find your keys or your wallet or your glasses or anything like that. Well, there are a few, before we tackle it, there are a few difficulties in it as well. There's a denial of the problem who is, of the problem by the person who is affected. So Volker, he's lying to his wife that he can't find her. He's saying, oh no, I met somebody, I've been talking to him, so that's why it took me so long to get back to you. And the problem might get worse when you get older, so you need to have a system that actually learns to tackle more problems. Volker, and he's probably not the only one who's skeptical about techniques and robots, so you need to make it quite intuitive, and there's a lack of useful knowledge, so it really has to be easy to use. So it has to be intuitive, easy to use, it has to be hidden, because he's also ashamed, so he doesn't want a robot rolling around just doing things for him, what everybody can see. It needs to be positive, we believe, so it shouldn't point out a problem, but it should help. And it should also be some kind of companionship, and it should be trustworthy. So here's Volker. He's at home, and his home is smart. There are a few devices, so let's say motion detector and a microphone. And he also has a camera on his body. He takes pictures all the time, so that's where Luke comes in. He's simulating that, the camera. So the camera just watches what he does, where he goes, and what kind of objects he uses. Now, for instance, the motion detector is able to see whether he's struggling. If he's walking around in the same place looking for something, that's a pattern that it can recognize. That might send a signal to the system that actually activates it and asks Volker, is there anything you need? Is there anything I could do through, let's say, a screen or just by voice? And that's where the system actually takes over the problem from Volker. So, if Luke is ready, a small demonstration. Not yet. So,
that's some more cool stuff.
I'll just talk slowly, a little bit slowly. Volker is standing in his hallway, he's looking for something. He knows what he's looking for, but he just doesn't know where he hid it. There's a distinctive pattern, and the system fires, and it asks, Volker, can I help? Quickly now, Luke.
Almost, yeah. So
this is why it was dangerous, but
yeah, it's always is it on or off? Hello, step.
Okay. We'll just switch microphones first as well. So, but like we said, losing stuff is sort of a bit being ashamed, and I hate to admit it, but I've been sleep deprived for the last 48 hours. I've slept only for 6 hours, and I've somehow managed to misplace my glasses during the photo session. So, but I do know I made a picture of the glasses somewhere, so I should be able to find it back by our great system at asking questions to our system. So I think this is, I do very many pictures. I'm really a archetype of my generation, monitoring everything, but I think we'll manage now. It's like you should always present. So we made a very nice looking user interface, text-based user interface, because that's old and we didn't have enough time to make something else. So yeah, so I can ask questions to a system in natural language. I can ask my questions in any way, in numerous ways, not just one hard-coded way. We can ask multiple ways. So.
Hi, can I help you today?
So it can speak, but it can also produce. It can speak, but demonstration and stuff. Well, so how can I help you today? Ask me. Well, I've lost something. I have lost.
You've been very brave to do a live demo on us, Luke.
Yeah, I know.
What are you
You know that.
So now ask me, okay, so you've lost something. What are you looking for? Well, my glasses.
Looking for glasses.
So now I'm starting to look through all the pictures I uploaded. If I go through all the pictures I've uploaded, trying to find an occurrence of glasses. And hopefully it will find it, and will show me where I've left them.
I believe your glasses are here.
Ah, you found it?
And they were actually right behind my laptop, but just here in front of me. So it actually works, yay!
So to make this work, we used a couple of techniques. We used natural language processing from Watson. Well, what we actually did was connecting the Watson chatbot to Google Cloud Vision together with our database in between, made in Python. And if you put something in the chatbot, it processes to the Google Cloud. Am I right? Yeah? Okay. And then the word is transferred to a picture, and in the cloud platform it's going to search for images that are the same as that word, and then he gives back a picture to our database, and then in our database it's looking for similar pictures, and then it gives you back a picture of, for example, the glasses. So that's how it works technically. Yeah, we thought about what Siert mentioned before, that it has to be a positive impact, what we create. And it has, because he can remember something, or we help him to remember something. So he fixed the problem for that moment. So he feels empowered, and he doesn't feel ashamed anymore. And he doesn't have to lie to his wife. So we think we empowered him quite well. Yeah, we also thought about the potential of this today's thing. Today's is an old Dutch name for a woman, and in English it's a name for trucking, something that's our connotation of trucking. But we think we can find a lot more things than only objects. We can track faces. We can help remember people with dementia, who the people are that are standing in front of them. Their long-term cognition is working better, so maybe they can find descriptions of the people that are around from back in the days. What we also want to add is more geolocation-based information. If you make a picture with your iPhone, for example, then it collects, if you're connected to Wi-Fi or internet, then it collects the geo data of the image. It's not that specific. Now we think that you can make a picture here and it's another location than the table, but we want to figure out a way to make more specific geolocating data, so we can say, give back your glasses are in the kitchen, because sometimes in the picture the environment is not really visible, so it's hard to show where the place actually is. So that's why we want to add the geo data.
Yeah, 10 seconds. No, you win 10 seconds. That's fantastic. This doesn't work. That's also fantastic. Yeah, is that? Are you done, or are you? We're done.
Yeah.
Very good. Increase cognition. Increase the cognition of elderly through. You could say cognitive computing. Yeah. So can you maybe explain a little bit your background before we go into the questions, just to kind of see the legitimacy, I suppose, of what you build.
Yeah. So I'm an AI student, and I've worked before with deep learning and sort of natural language processing, but not in the setting this time. I've always built it from scratch to something we can use, but now we already use a on-the-shelf method actually, so the network we're now using is not even trained for the images we are processing, so we can even improve our performance a lot more by creating our own networks or something like that. But yeah, that's not feasible in 48 hours. This barely was feasible in 48 hours.
And we got also a GP in the room, just in case someone gets... Is it there right?
Yeah, well,
just in case.
Well, actually, I'm a doctor, and I recently learned how to use a computer mouse, and actually in these last 48 hours, I did some of the programming of IBM work.
Well, that's what it's all about. Thanks very much. Questions?
In the beginning you mentioned the sensors. Did you actually manage to try something with the sensors?
No, sadly no.
What about the privacy problems? I mean, you're uploading huge amounts of private data. Don't you think that elderly will object that? Or people in general?
The Dutch and the Germans.
Yeah, so it always remains your own personal choice to do so. I mean, a lot of people are already uploading huge amounts of their lives online, so, but most of the time they're young people, so that's true. But at the moment, we're using cloud-based solutions, but in the future it might work into packages locally computed locally on our own database or server at your home, just so you don't have to send to the cloud and you remove the whole privacy problem.
If I understand it correctly, the system relies on people taking very large numbers of photographs because they don't know in advance what they're going to ask.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think most older people take photographs all the time, unless they had some device on them which is constantly taking photographs. Do you contemplate that as one of the ways of dealing with it?
Yeah. So of course, the first device that comes to mind is of course Google Glass. That's perfectly for this. It monitors everything you see, and you'll theoretically, if you lose something, you've seen it somewhere before. Probably you put your keys away, you look at it, so you can find it back through your by just searching through your video feedback of Google Glass. There are also different approaches, and sort of camera hidden in a brush, or just use ubiquitous cameras you have hanging around in your house. As well as stationary cameras, these might also come into elderly homes in the future. So.
Indeed.
Okay, well, fantastic. We move on to the next one. We've got two more, but I think they're all very, very, very well worth listening to. Can I just get a round of applause for everyone here? For the effort. It's been 48 hours. Non-stop hacking. Well, some of them have been non-stop with myself. Funny enough, it's not about me, but I just want to sort of share this obviously theme is active and healthy aging, and I've been the least active or healthy in the past 48 hours, so it's a little bit of we fixed it. We move on to the next room, or the next wall.
Hi everybody, we are Team Pepper Connected. So I'm John, I'm a hardware guy from UFA. This is me. He's an artificial intelligence guy from IT. And Lynn is a businesswoman starting her career here in Amsterdam. And our idea is to connect people with the outside world. So I know that you all, instead of looking at Pepper over there, but we have to do the obligatory things, which is to show personal.
Inspiration.
Yeah. This is inspiration is Mr. Volker Braun. So he has problem with he wants to connect with people to the outside world, and he has difficulty in going out alone or remember small things. Now, in order to solve his problem, this is a scenario that we are going to solve, a live demonstration how he can connect with outside world using Pepper. So basically it's a combination of Tinder, Facebook, and maybe even Uber. So let's get started.
Small companies.
Yeah.
You seems to be bored. May I suggest you something?
Yes.
Okay, how about I connect you with your relatives?
No, thanks.
Would you like to meet somebody in the neighborhood instead?
Yes, that would be nice.
She lives 3 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet her?
No, thanks.
Oh, okay, next person. He lives 5 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet him?
No, thanks.
Oh, okay, next person. He lives 5 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet him?
Okay, yes.
Okay, nice. I will send him a message.
Yes, so this is our first demonstration. So people would like to go out, and this is based on the location of people around in the neighborhood. So the person can get more connected with people around him. Now let's try again with a different scenario.
Yeah, exactly. It's got you.
Who would like to give a chance?
Oh,
I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer.
Seems to be bored. May I suggest you something?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, how about I connect you with your relatives?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Would you like to meet somebody in the neighborhood instead?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
She lives 3 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet her?
Oh, yes.
Nice. I will send her a message.
Yes, so basically it recognizes the speeches and react accordingly. Now let's imagine that jury would like to go out with a lovely lady. Yes, that would be interesting.
Would you like to go shopping in Deep Pigeon Port?
Yes, let's do that.
Great. I will call an Uber for you.
Yes, so basically, once you feel connected and you would like to go out with somebody, Pepper can arrange the arrangement, transport arrangement, or ask somebody to go out with you so that you won't feel alone anymore, even though you even didn't have any idea of going out yet when you are using with Pepper.
I have no idea.
Pepper, I forgot a word. Pepper, I forgot a word.
No, it's not.
I forgot a word.
Could you describe it?
Yes, it's porcelain.
It's wood. Could you tell me more?
I can sit on it.
I can sit on it.
Sounds like a chair.
Yeah, it's showing on the chair.
Yeah.
Oh, showing a chair. So you have to remember, record some words that you forgot. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now all the technical details has been done. So how are we going to scale Pepper up to the market level? As we can see, Pepper has an LCD screen in front of it. So basically it can act as a TV for you. So most of us already have a TV in the house, but the TV have life cycle, and maybe at some point in time we can think of Pepper as an extension of your TV that is a very smart TV and that helps you to connect with the outside world. Additionally, we can sell the license to Tinder or to Facebook to develop Pepper on our platform. Or we can even have advertisement, but that would be a bit controversial. And that's all that we have for our ideas.
Questions? Yeah.
Any questions?
I was just wondering, did you do any testing to see how comfortable an elderly person was with interacting with Pepper?
Yeah, you can ask the person sitting next to you.
Oh, right. How was it?
I wasn't asked that question. I don't know. I think that my question was related to that. Do you think that people would be nervous about being in any dating thing, which is essentially what you're talking about, with unknown people? There are risks associated with it. How do you envisage dealing with that, unless you're just doing it through a conventional dating agency?
We would, of course, this is still a prototype platform, so we can still think of other way of messaging people beforehand, or send a small video describing the person to the person on the other line, and then we can choose. So it's fairly traditional in that sense.
Just as a comment, I think it's the second application that you showed, which really has nothing to do, in a sense, the chair application. It's a very interesting thing that I think would be, I could imagine developing into quite a wide application.
Yes.
That somebody says, can describe what it is they want to remember.
Yeah.
And that memory, I don't know whether such an application exists or not. It strikes me as something quite powerful if you do that.
Yeah. Okay. Rainer, no questions for you. That's quite unusual.
Maybe regarding the technology that you are using, also for the speech recognition, relying on IBM Watson, or is it the Pepper speech recognition?
Pepper speech recognition.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, so for now it's a prototype, so we rely on rules that we can possibly use choreograph to program the Pepper itself to do. So for now it's rule-based, but in the future we can use machine learning and yeah, possibly also. Yeah, it's a possibility. Any question?
Okay, well, give him a round of applause.
Wait, not yet.
No, you can do it again. 2 rounds of applause. And how much of this was orchestrated and how much of this was actually live?
Sorry?
How much of this was orchestrated and how much was actually sort of set like simulated?
Was it scripted?
Yeah, was it scripted?
The dialogues were scripted.
Except for the last one with the chair application is scripted, and now most of it is live.
Okay, good. You know something else, is that?
Yes.
You seems to be bored. May I suggest you something?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how about I connect you with relatives?
No, thank you.
Would you like to meet somebody in the neighborhood instead?
No, thank you.
She lives 3 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet her?
No, thank you. No.
Oh, okay, next person. He lives 5 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet him?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay, next person. He lives 5 kilometers away from here. Would you like to meet him?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay, please wait for a few hours for me to find more persons.
So that's it, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming and hopefully listening to something that's very interesting to us. We're representing the north of the country, in Groningen. So I think we brought the storm here because it's super cold up there, and so we thought it's not fair that here it's going to be warm. So I think we're all good. We wanted to bring something different, and I hope that you guys can get on board. The person that we chose is Ms. Klaartje Koster, and she's a very happy, very positive, and extremely active person. And her love for life and her love for her family is just inspirational. And unfortunately, despite her enthusiasm, Klaartje's body is not really cooperating with her aspirations and wishes and needs. And all she wants to do is to be active and to play with her grandchildren, but because her body is not really cooperating, that makes her a bit more sad and a bit more annoyed. And also, what makes it even worse is that she's at risk for having a heart attack. So we can only imagine the whirlwind of emotions she's going through. So, therefore, in order to give her and others like Klaartje peace of mind, we've come up with something different. We've come up with a platform where all the medical data can be uploaded and easily accessible. It's a health cloud, as you can see. And this platform that we've created, it works with existing technology. Think in terms of wearables. We have smartwatches, and these smartwatches, they can measure your blood pressure, and they can also measure your heart rhythm. And this information is stored. The only problem is, if an irregularity is measured, such as extremely high blood pressure, or maybe early signs of heart palpitations that can lead to a heart attack, a physician has to be physically there in order to interpret the data of what is measured. But as we know, the older a person gets, the more likelihood that there's going to be difficulty with movement. Or, because not everyone has the same income bracket, maybe they don't have the means of transportation. And doctors, physicians, they are not always able to make house visits. So it becomes more difficult in order for the person to get the treatment they need as urgently as they can. And what leads to that, unfortunately, most of the time, is death, while it could have been prevented. Therefore, in order to make sure that existing technology can work better, more efficiently, and more faster, we created a platform where, as soon as the smartwatch or whatever gadget that has a sensor can measure, those results are stored and automatically uploaded on the cloud. What does that mean? That as soon as the information is stored, that physicians, the client, or maybe even family members can have access to that information automatically from a distance. So it's as easy as powering up your computer and just logging in, and you can see the information. And what does that mean? That the faster you get the information, the faster you can act. So that is our point, to put action and movement into play as soon as possible.
I'm going to tell a bit more about the technical side of the project. First, we build a platform. Behind the platform there is a database that stores all the information. We use blockchain to determine which person has access to the data. You can say, this doctor has access to my data, but my neighbor has not. And we use blockchain to change keys, so we know from each other, okay, you can access the data and I can access the data. And we use the qualified self database. She'll already more about that. So how it's planned? There are patients. They have devices. They're all shown here. They all speak about the object, the cloud, or something, but it's not already there. So what we are building is a platform that's the cloud plus the blockchain network that allows patients to store data in the database, so nurses and third parties can check into the data when that access is granted through the blockchain network. And now we're going to show the website that we built for the platform. This is the website. It's just like mijnoverheid.nl, only for your health. So as we said, we use Klaartje as an example. So if Klaartje wanted to share data with someone, for example, she could log in, she could fill her information, she could sign in, she could go to her personal information. Here she has an overview of all her information from all her devices that she has, maybe a robot, maybe a smart home, maybe a smart car. And all the information is stored together with personal information on here. For example, when you go to this warning, we can see that one of her devices has sent a message to a doctor and to herself that something went wrong. The device checks her heart around every minute, and it noted that it was far too high, and that way she needed care. So she informed all the parties that were needed to take action on the thing that went wrong.
And just this is an example, so as Timo said, that her heart rate was measured and it was extremely high, so she needs urgent care. And what does the cloud do? As soon as it detects that there's this irregularity, it automatically sends a message, as you guys can see here, where it says, based on recent measurements of Ms. Koster's heart rate, urgent care from a physician is required. So not only is the patient notified, but the doctor gets a message as soon as possible as well. So in that way, we go back to what the point was, that if action needs to be taken, it will be taken as soon as possible. And because of that, our cloud can hopefully save Ms. Koster's life.
Yeah, you got 10 seconds each. If you want to
maybe some questions that are asked earlier on some other projects, I can answer those. For example, why would an older person want something like this? They also have new cars. New cars may have window wipes that automatically turn on when it starts raining. This works exactly the same. An older person doesn't have to log in. Mijnoverheid.nl, for example, does exactly the same. It changes information in the back end side of the website, and an older person never has to look at it. Only persons that are using it really get the value out of it.
Well, that's, I mean, a round of applause. I think you done a fantastic job here. Did you know anything about this before you actually went into this hackathon? Have you got any experience with yeah?
This is my first ever hackathon.
Yeah,
and
did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. Good. And interesting, I have absolutely no background in programming and coding. But especially because of my brother, because he's a life scientist, he knows a lot about medicine, and I do research. We've combined that with two amazing developers, where we just came with this idea of thinking, sometimes you don't always have to design something new to compete, but how can you improve what already exists? And based on that thought process, we thought, you know what, the best way to start is to just make information accessibility easier to use, especially for older people, because based on the conversation that we attended yesterday, that was one of the main points. How can we make access just easier and less complicated? And from there, we came up with this.
Good, great stuff. And then one question before I give it to someone else. You mentioned blockchain, which is clearly a huge technology to just drop in just like that. And what would be the core thing that you're actually delivering here? Because you're talking about a health suite, which sounds to me like a Philips health suite is a huge task. It is obviously something that's based upon the privacy and this type of things. If you have to name one technology, one of the cutting edges that you use here, what would that be?
I think there's not really one word that describes this. I think, to describe it in a sentence, I think the politics are talking all about 2020, and I think Mijnoverheid.nl needs to be upgraded to support the medical side. It's not supported right now.
Yeah. Okay. And just for your understanding, Mijnoverheid, what they refer to is the equivalent would be probably when the government in the UK, NHS, has one login, secure login, that you can see all your personal details. Any questions? I think it's fine. Any more? Good. Give a round of applause. And then we move on to the last. And then we have some food. And then we have some drinks. And I think we've done a great job here. But
So I skip all that. and go directly to our solution. Our project was called CareBot because we think that caring has two main aspects. That is caring for and caring about. And I think that to care for a person, it's very important that you care about a person. So we have been thinking of a way to bring soul into the machine within 48 hours. And well, the way we do it is we made up a prototype which will offer images that we have been choosing randomly from internet, images to the one which is operating the prototype, and then you can like or dislike the image. We use then IBM Watson to classify the image, and we save the response, so we can connect all different images classified with the response of the person, the cognitive response of the person, in the way so that we can get an understanding of what the person's interests and preferences are. Well, but not only with this cognitive reaction we measure, we do it simultaneously with physiological interaction by having a wearable which is measuring the heartbeat. And we have a working prototype. Well, it's not very visible, but
maybe you can move it a little bit to here. Is that possible? Can everyone still see it then?
You see this moving belt. That is the heartbeat of Wouter, my teammate. And this is pushed to a third-party app which will convert this heart rate in a mood map that you see on this one. And this mood map is pushed to my laptop. So when I see an image, and I say, well, this is my grandson, so I really like this image, and then I go to the next.
So sorry, would it be rude to stop and to say, well, maybe you need to connect to a beam?
Oh, no, it's okay.
You're fine?
No,
okay. Okay, good. You're happy with that. Okay.
So we send the image to Watson.
Article 0 to 18D0, 52BA0, 000.
Well, it's a long image file.
634x402.jpg, and you like person.
So this is like random images. So as a caretaker, you could tag your photo album with photos that really matter to you. The system will learn these preferences and can use that also for diagnostic measures. Are you, as a Alzheimer patient, are you progressing in your disease or not? Or you can, based on the information in the database, and measuring the mood of the person, maybe we can offer a lot of positive images to make this person feel better. So we are just building up a personal profile automatically of preferences and interests through this system. But not only did we can hook it up with domotica as well, and that's a part which Wouter has been working on.
Okay, so I'm Wouter. The basic idea is that we make an environment or more a platform that's able to learn your interests, but also the things where you don't want to be remembered with. So it is trying to learn through images and through other ways, like speech. You can we use the Watson connection to use speech and imaging recognition. And the system can show you pictures like the World Wide War that we had. And some elderly people really like to talk about it and get excited about it. So they can either use an upvote manually, but they can also be interpreted with the heartbeat ratio and the connection with the very awesome algorithms from follow flow. They will see what your interests are or what you don't really like to talk about, and they can remember that in a database. So when all the other domotic stuff and robots, they can really know what they should confront you with or what they should be avoiding around and not really talk about. So the system is actually going to be smarter as it follows you what your interests are or not. And as I said, it can be connected to your body. But we also make use of another project that I'm working on, Trego. And that is actually a smart home system that's coming in your home, but will keep your data private in your own home, so it won't talk as much to the cloud as possible. And it can be a mediator to make your data anonymous, so other providers can't see who you are actually. And so we can make easier use of more APIs without them knowing who you are. And it is also able to connect like your health environment, like your home, what is your temperature, what do you like, how much do you move with certain activities, and how does it affect your mood that you're in. And that's a very simple example that we see here. Like all this data, what you see here is live getting from the internet or inside the home. You can show it on a dashboard. So it's more like a platform that can be used for the systems that you will interact with. But the systems can use this platform to get smarter and really get to know you, what your interests are and what should not be talked about.
Okay.
Any questions? Is that okay?
Can I also ask a question?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
In the microphone.
There are happening a lot of things in the world which I'm not interested in. For example, there are elections in the world which are not going well for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I need to see these things, the news, for example. How can you compensate these two ways of, what is nice to me, what's not nice to me?
I don't really understand how you see the difference in what interests me and what not.
So you said this program can see, okay, I like this picture, so it shows more of these kind of pictures to me. But there are... Okay.
Well, it's the resources we offer in the system that may be chosen by family or caretakers or doctors or yourself. You can put in your family album. If you're not interested in politics or whatever, there is no need for you to see it. It's not like a portal for the news. The system will be trained by things which we offer, which you can listen to, you can see, and it registers your response to it by measuring your bodily functions and your cognitive functions by actively liking or disliking or being neutral to what is being offered. So if you want the system to be trained in what news you are interested in, then you could through the system read the newspaper, for example. But if you're not interested in that, then you don't need to do that.
But that's not what I mean. For example, I don't like to see war in the news, but it is important to humans that they see what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. On the one hand, I don't want to see it, but it is important that somebody sees it because, wars must be seen. So how can you compensate this?
Well, maybe you don't want to see the image, but you want to know about the event. So then this system could be used to make the distinguish between the event and the image.
This is just a platform to get to know what you like and what you don't like. It's the algorithms behind it that's gonna use it for something that's for somebody else. But this is just a platform to determine whether you're interested or not. So other systems can hook up with that.
So, but your system also means that the elderly person has to watch actively something like this, a program like this. So can you also imagine that this is immersive? So whatever you are doing,
so like they showed there with the...
Just answer it with the mic, thank you.
So what you saw there, like with the pictures they took and that they made them themselves, I'm sure I've got its name, but the robot has like a camera in it. So you can talk with it, interact with it, and the elderly can say like, here, this is my family, or here, this is a nice horse. And he can take a picture of it, the robot. And the robot can like know that this is something you are interested in. And it can not only cognitively know, but it also knows it from your watch.
Okay, and what's in my watch? Oh yeah, okay, the final bit.
What was mentioned before was also a very nice idea, to use your smart TV as well. You don't, there are a lot of things you do in the house. If you just enhance it with this algorithm, then we learn about your preferences and interests.
Yeah, okay, so it's really driven by the emotions.
No, all the cognitive functions.
The cognitive functions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to leave it with that. Thanks very much. Just give him a round of applause. 99. It's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, that's it for now. The pitches. There's one person that asked me if he could say something, and anyone can say something tonight. So, and you said you keep it quite brief.
You asked me to earlier on for some closing words, and I think we're all technicians here, or at least technique-savage people who are interested. I think it was a very interesting weekend to come here to see what the robots can do, what technology can do. We've seen a lot of solutions for problems that are actually there. And I think we'll see parts of these solutions, or a lot of solutions, emerging in the next 10 years. That people need to pull in technology. We can't just throw it at them and say, this is your solution, right? We need to include human touch, to get inspired, feel the problems, and then find a solution. And I just want to emphasize that it's not only technology that provides a solution. Sometimes it's human touch, a little more attention, a little time to solve a problem. So just want to give you that. That's just one thing that is not measured, and which I would like to see a graph of. And that's the heartbeat for the past 2 years of Jurgen and Simona, seeing all their emotions in the past 2 weeks, living up to today.
Oh, you don't want to know.
What a lot of stress they must have had. So I want a round of applause for the organizers.
As a non-techie, they asked me to say something because it's all about care. But before I announce anything, I'd like to say on behalf of all the judges how very impressed we are with the work you've done. They told us you had 48 hours, but we did the math and we figured out you didn't have 48 hours. You maybe had 36 hours. And what you've done is absolutely impressive. As a non-techie, I'm really flabbergasted with what a group of young people can do. And, so this is great. And I like. Like the last speaker who said how important it is that care and the technological world meet, and how important it is to introduce these kind of concepts into the world, into the people who actually need some form of help. As a deputy mayor and alderman, I'm most interested in the independent part of someone who's living alone. And we like simple solutions. We like solutions that are easy to reproduce and are very available.
So, is that the...
So.
The winner is...
Time for a ruffle.
The winner.
Is it? Time for a ruffle.
There is a movie called Up. And at a certain point, a little boy says, but it's a talking dog. So we'd like to announce Snoop as the winner.
Where's the team? Thank you very much.
Ladies first. Thank you very much. For those interested, we also have a reason why we thought this was good. We liked the simple design. We also liked the fact that there was a prototype done and 3D printed. We liked the fact that if you have your talking dog, that the data collected by the dog actually helps the human that is the owner of the dog. And we like the idea that the impact of what the dog does for a person is very high. You know, you have to go outside to walk the dog, which is good for your health. You meet people when you walk the dog. All dog owners know this. And so with the relative simple instrument, we felt that the impact was very high, and the simplicity with the high impact made us decide that this was the winner. There is a prize, and the prize goes with a future promise of yours of actually developing this product. This is an inspiration to do that. You get some coaching, you get some high-tech Excel help, and we really wish you a lot of luck to actually develop the product if you really want to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
That's it.